starboard, this is the V-berth, and I'm way up in here because this is the line. This is about 200 feet of pretty new, only a year or so old, maybe 8 anchorings altogether involved. 200 feet of 5/8 nylon. It's real good, and I've got 30 feet of chain on the anchor that you'll see in a little bit. So that sits right down in there. A lot of times when I'm actually out cruising, I coil that up on deck, so I have more storage up there for whatever. But that's when I'm going off for a week or two. And I hope that you can see the inside of the condition of all the ribs, everything. There's very, very little rust. And as you can see, and I'm 5'8", and I've got more, you know, I got like extra feet room. And the guy I bought it from was actually 6'1", and he seemed to fit in here too. And you can sit up in here quite comfortably with 2 people. Off to this side here we have a little place to store clothes and stuff. I have paperwork and things in there. And off to the other side is supposed to be another one. I just haven't replaced it because what I've done here, I replaced the chain plates a while back, and the only improvement on these that you might want to make is to get a stainless steel plate to put in here, because these seem to be pretty good in rough weather, but sometimes I kind of worry that maybe it's not the best thing. So you probably should put a big plate in there to connect all this stuff together. There used to be one here, but it was mild steel and galvanized, and it just kind of rusted away, and so I'd put stainless steel in there. There's you can't see it from your angle, but there's what is this called? A fire extinguisher there, and there's 3 of them on board. Okay. Okay, as you can see, there's the head here, and I've got all my liveaboard stuff. When you're under sail, this has to be moved around, but you don't lose stuff off there too much unless it's real heavy weather. But there's storage back in here, as you can see. There is a rusted hinge there, but other than that, it's all pretty good. There's a mirror right here with a light over here. And this area right here, I have the piece of wood up here. It's just I have it off during fix-up, but there's a nice piece of mahogany that fits in here. This head here is only about 2 years old, and you pump it dry like that. You add water like that, and then if you want, you can leave a little water in it, or you can pump it dry again. Okay, on the starboard side here, we have a closet where at present I keep most of my food. I keep a little oil and a bottle of wine for emergencies. And here's a fuse panel. This is pretty new. I've got 2 15-amp circuits here. One for the heater all by itself, and then all the other 110 paraphernalia that goes on in here. And if you look inside there, the closet, you can see more of those chain plate areas that I was talking about, where that stainless steel plate has to come back in there. Doesn't have to, but I just think it'd be better construction. Just a minor deal. Okay. Okay, we have one hatch. Of course, up in the V-berth, you know, it was so light, there's a hatch right above there. We have another hatch right here, and when it's closed, me at 5'8" can bounce around here. The rest of the headroom is just barely 5'8", but I've never really found that to be a problem. Okay, you talked about adding a diesel stove. This is probably where it'd go. I've got food and items here, and if you move this out, there's 2 more layers of storage behind here, which is a little bit difficult to get to, but if you want to put canned stuff down in there, which I did when I went to Alaska, it's okay. The stove works, the propane works real good. Just push it in, give it a little light, and start cooking. As you can see here, there's a little rust and stuff, but it hasn't really gotten any worse since I bought it. The stove is, or the oven, is the same situation. You stick your hand down in there, turn it on, and there it goes, just as nice as pie. In fact, I've baked up to a 10-pound turkey a couple of Thanksgivings in a row in here. The breastbone got a little burned, but other than that. Okay, the stainless steel sink here, I'll show you in a minute. But under here, we have an automatic bilge pump, which I'll open this up in a minute, which is down there. The camera won't be able to see it very well. But there are 2 layers of storage. There's a filter here for the automatic bilge pump, and just quite a bit of storage. Stainless steel sink. There's no hot water, but we carry 40 gallons of fresh water, and all you do is pump this a little bit, and we have nice, fresh, clean water. By the way, that 40 gallons is under the V-berth up there. And a little rack here for things. All the lights on the starboard side are 110. All the lights on the port side are 12 volt. Okay, as we back up a little bit, we have one V-berth, and what I do is I store here's one survival suit, and then I've got a sleeping bag, and there's a spinnaker and another head sail back in there. But I find probably more comfortable to lay these out here if someone wants to sleep here all night. And I've got all my book racks. There's one speaker, two speakers for the stereo. And let's see, there's a red light here, a little 12 volt light for when you're underway. We have a high seas diesel heater here, which the pressure tank, 3 gallons, is back there. Lasts you anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, depending on how hot you burn it. I was going to light it for this film, but I don't think so. Just take my word. Maybe I'll show your wife that it really does work. But it does work. And back here where it used to be the V-berth, now is for my TV and the VCR, which does not go with the boat. But there's lots of storage back in there. There's a battery under here, which you get through a hatch right here. And there's another battery under here, which is right under here. And all this stuff clips right off, and this is all my 110 stuff. Got a dust buster sitting right here, and now for the bilge. And here is where the bilge is, and don't worry, there's always water in here. I mean, it's just the thing about wood boats. And here's the little automatic switch, and up here is where it sucks it in. And I've got a little screen on there, plus the other one I showed you there. So that's the way that is. We'll just shove it down and shut it off. And that's automatic. But it can be turned off completely by a fuse panel over here. So we have running lights, steamer light, and a stern light, and this is the automatic bilge pump. We can just shut it off by permanently like that if it's running and you want to shut it off for any reason. And here we have a bilge blower, which is in the back. Okay, we've changed positions with camera. Here we have a VHF, which has been trouble-free, automatic 16, and there's NOAA. And there's several channels. It's 55 channel, and goes right back to 16. We got a stereo, and a depth sounder, which right now it's showing we got about 12 feet under us, which means 7 feet. You got to count for the keel. Okay, probably the next logical thing, another fire extinguisher, is the motor. Now gets the interesting stuff because we're going to get underway here.
You leave your dinghy here?
Yeah, we'll just leave it here. And there it is. All this comes off also for easy access to get at the oil and check the oil and so forth and so on. So while we're running, we're going to start her right up. He knows all that. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoops. The sound level is much less when the covers are all back on, obviously. And of course, if you know anything about diesels, that's the way they sound. It's not about to throw a rod or anything. And it gets even quieter once we rev her up. So now we're going to get underway and show you all the other gear. Okay, we're about to get underway here. We've undone all the 110 power and telephone cords. And this is my dinghy that belongs up here, and you'll see in later film how it fits up here. You can walk all the way around it, it fits real nice. But just for today, we're going to leave it here. showing you how maneuverable it is. You can sit and spin on yourself. Okay, now I gotta come up to the dock and pick up the camera person. Okay, it used to have a tiller, and that's why the controls are down here. But actually I find it's very advantageous because I can sit here and steer and work them. See, just like that. There's neutral, there's reverse. Give it throttle. And lift it up. Or if you're unsure, you can reach over and do it, and it all works very good. You can see right up through here. So now we're underway. And I'm going to have Eric, my friend, steer now while I start showing you other stuff. Here's all the line where it comes from that we explained earlier in the V-Bird. And here's about 32 feet, 32 feet of 5/8 chain with a Danforth. I've anchored in really heavy seas and never broke anchor. And there's another system like this for the stern if we so need it. We have about 4 or 5 pretty new life preservers. Extra line for, this is dock lines for the port side and starboard side, all connected. One of the projects that needs to be done is finish this hatch off, and there's the V-berth down there. You were talking about taking the mast down. There's a rusted bolt here and a rusted bolt there, and they have to be broken or somehow pulled out of there, and then this mast, undo the shrouds, the mast will come right down. So now what we'll do is take off the sail cover, and the camera person will now move up forward. What we have here, this is a plastic cup that I put over the heater exhaust, so chimney, so that rainwater or whatever doesn't get in there. I have here an extra extension for that when you're at anchor or in port or somewhere that you add, find it down in here, that you add to this system. If I stick it right on there, like that, and then you've got higher exhaust and so forth. But one thing about diesel, it's kind of dirty and stuff, but just one of the prices you pay. There's no other better heat for it though. In this bag we have the 180 jib, and here's another minor problem. One day in my haste of sailing all by myself, I pulled the main handle out, put it in there, and it didn't lock, and the first time I went, off it went into the water. So you have to buy one of these, and if you get a bronze one, they're like $80. You can get chromed and stainless steel ones quite a bit cheaper. But that's what the next thing, once we get out in the river, we're going to put the sail up so you can see the condition of the sails. And let's see. We can just move on to the back now while we're going out to the river. Okay, what we have here is the ice box with a watermelon and left over a couple of beers and Pepsi. On this side, what we have is the 20 gallons of diesel fuel for the motor, and more storage back in here. There's storage up under there. The dinghy oars stay there. I've got all my paint and varnish up in there right now. Okay, then the hatch. There's a hatch right here. Take that all off. I've got all my working tools in there. Ordinarily, you keep all your long lines and so forth in there. But I find it easier to keep my paint and stuff in there. That's about all there is to that. The cockpit is self-bailing. Fills up with water and goes out a little hole right there. Okay, actually this is a perfect day to show you the condition of the sail because first of all the camera person won't fall overboard and very light wind. So it's all ready to go. All you do is release the brake with a handle right here, take it out of its lock right there, and we got a minor problem here which I can fix instantly. Okay. Tell you the truth, this is about the first time I've had the mainsail up in almost a darn year. Another good reason I got to be selling the boat. Okay, once it's up there and tight, there's a lock here. You just make sure that's locked and in place. And ordinarily you would store the handle there, but it doesn't fit. Okay, now probably you can see the sail from this side better. And actually I can, okay, this system back here is my TV antenna, and that's a temporary system. So we're just letting it kind of hang around. Here's the sail, and as you can see, maybe you can get some close-ups here or something, that it's not 100%, but by God, you know, you're going to get a lot of use out of it yet. A new sail will cost you about $1,000, but I'd say for the first couple of years, and there again, it depends on how heavy a weather you go out. You're going to be burying the rail every day and out there going down on the Columbia Bar, you know, you might have to replace it in another year or two. But for the most part, it's certainly usable, and I don't know what else to say about it. It's kind of dirty because it's years and years old. Okay.
Hit it.
Eric in the back there has hooked up the topping lift to it, and so it's ready to come down. And all you do is release the brake. Needs a little oil. And immediately lock it into place. Put the brake back on. Put tension on the main halyard, just like that. Stretch this out, make yourself a little bag under here, and just start leafing it up in there, in layers. Make sure that each bat lays in there nice and proper, otherwise you'll break them. We've got the marina off to our port side here, ready to go back in. It's a matter of laying out the sail cover. First thing you do, when the dinghy's on board, it makes a perfect pad. You can stand right up on it, reach up here, tie that, start snapping it up. We didn't put the jib up because the procedure is just about the same. But for this short video, it takes a lot. It's just too much effort. Then you just snap along the bottom as you work your way back.